The suit was filed by actor Derek Dixon, who appeared in 85 episodes of Tyler's drama, The Oval.
I really needed this job.
His filing includes screenshots of 19 alleged text exchanges between him and the studio head, including one where Tyler asks, "What's it going to take for you to have guiltless sex?"
Are you jealous?
The actor alleges in one instance, the 55-year-old forcibly pulled off his clothing and attempted to force himself on him. Also as leverage, the suit alleges Tyler had Derek's character shot, leaving his survival up in the air as a cliffhanger.
The story of a mad Clune, Jigaboo, Stefan, maybe even Coconut. Depends on how you want to see it. Some of you may see that title and think this is provocative, maybe deliberate. What the kids say, clickbait. But I assure you, the aim of this episode is to actually explore the character of Tyler Perry, how men like that are made, how he specifically exploited black pain, black women's pain.
What's going on? Don't do that. Don't judge me.
Take my money and go!
And also weaponized religion, his backstory, his own pain, to shield himself, create a cloak that evaded criticism, that evaded any sort of growth in his movies, but also allowed him to create the empire, the institution that he became, where he could potentially and allegedly exploit other people. We're gonna go through that, we're gonna discuss it, and leave in the comments what you think. But without further ado, let's explore. Please guys, like, comment, share and subscribe. It needs your support. With your support, it can achieve anything. Without it, it will do nothing and it will fade into YouTube's abyss. So please put into the comments what you like, what you want to see covered, what you want to see improved. Put it into the comments. It won't be shunned. I see everything. So please engage with the channel, subscribe with the channel, hit the notification bell of the channel. And let's enjoy some great content together. See, Tyler Perry's story and allegations are a thing of commonality in Hollywood now, especially with directors. More and more are being exposed for being quite, without mincing my words, tyrants, power abusers. But Tyler Perry is unique compared to some of these other directors that have been alleged to do what they've done. Tyler Perry himself is an institution. He is seen amongst black people as pure royalty in the ilk of Oprah.
The studio was once a Confederate Army base, and I want you to hear this, which meant that there was Confederate soldiers on that base plotting and planning on how to keep 3.9 million Negroes enslaved. Now that land is owned by one Negro.
Not quite on that level, but not far off. He's been accused of many things and he's been allowed to evade it, answering very little. But I do believe in order to understand the man he is, you've got to understand his history, how he became Emmett Tyler Smith to Tyler Perry, the institution.
Some of the experiences that I remember from teachers at school, they weren't pleasant. Some of the things that were said to me. I remember telling one teacher that I wanted to be a millionaire, and in front of the class, he said, "Oh, that'll never happen. That'll never happen. Black men, the system is set up against you. You'll never be a millionaire." And you know, just hearing him say that and looking at all the kids looking around, going, "What? A what?" And and in my mind, hearing that voice saying, "That's not true. That's not true. You can do whatever you want to do."
A lot of the success that I experienced very early on in my career was based on running from poverty. I just did not want to be poor again. I just did not want to live in that place again. And also I wanted to be able to take care of my mother. So I was driven to a point of just wanted to have enough money to take care of her. And I remember
Forgiven my father. He and I got into a horrible argument, and I said on the phone, "I forgive you." Screamed it at him. it was almost as if something shifted inside of me. 18, 19, I saw an Oprah show and she said she said it was cathartic to write things down. So I started writing things down that I'd been through, but I was using different characters' names because I didn't want, if anybody, there was no privacy in the house I grew up in. So if anybody found it, I didn't want them to know that I was talking about myself. So a friend of mine read it and he's like, man, this is a really good play. You should do something with it. And that became the impetus for my first show. I Know I've Been Changed. Yeah, I was in 1991, 1990, 91.
You see, Tyler's story is one that you hear often. There's struggle, there's pain, there's abuse. In that story, I find he's very well spoken. He speaks about it quite candidly. You do start to see the subtle tropes, maybe disdain he has or could have developed for the black community, but you see a man that remembers his childhood, and when he was going through this was a boy trying to escape, trying to understand, and created this world, this colorful world, for lack of a better word, that allowed him to escape, and he used his pain and turned it into art, and that's the best kind of art. And his plays developed and they grew.
Mabel,
I got it, ma'am. I got it.
Mabel, wait a minute.
She do look like a raisinette.
I got it, ma'am.
Are they high-fiving?
I got it. I got it.
Mabel,
Let me
did
tell
they
you
say...
something. Huh?
Did they say...
I got it, ma'am. I got it. I don't know what the hell wrong with y'all children, but y'all is so damn disrespectful. That was funny as hell right there. Oh, she look out right there.
And the story of going from dirty people in the playhouse to thousands at the end of towards the end of his run.
But 1993 until 1998, I would try to do this play once a year. And every time I would try to do it, I would have a job. I would go to my boss and say, listen, I need to get 3 weeks off because I need to go do this play. I feel like this is going to be a big hit. My boss would be like, you just started working here 2 weeks ago. What do you mean you need 3 weeks off? But I knew that I had to do it. So I'd go back to my desk, I'd whisper a prayer, and I'd hear this voice say, quit. You're going to be okay, quit. And for me, I would quit the job, go out and do the show. And every time I went out to do the show failed. Or so I thought. So for 7 years. But in that time, I was learning. I was building a base. Slowly, the audience started to grow. They went from 30 to 300 to maybe 400. Never got more than 800, but they were growing slowly over that time. But I kept the faith in believing that this gift that I was trying to share with people, that this something that I had, this bit of special that I thought I had, that it would grow into something special, and I would not let it go. So in 1998, everything turned around. It was that one moment, that one spark, all of those years of pushing. One moment turned it around. I did the play in 1998 at the House of Blues, and by then I had given up. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to do like my mother said. I'm going to get me a job at the phone company, making about $300 a week, and some benefits. My mother just wanted me to have benefits. That's all she wanted, right?
She's a good mom.
She's a good mom.
Yeah.
So I do this show, that last show in 1998, and it sold out over and over and over and over again.
Going to thousands at the end of his run is inspirational, it's beautiful. If anyone's a writer out there, he inspires you. The way he talks about writing, you can tell he's a writer at heart as well. There is something viscerally inspiring, but the more you hear his story, the more you start to think he is embellishing certain things. Some things don't quite they don't go through the scrutiny test. They don't understand. They don't go through the stress test.
I'll tell you the story. We were on the beach and over the holidays, and he's jumping behind me, and I'm like, I just wanted to walk up the beach. I'm kind of, what are you doing? And I turn around and I'm like, what are you doing? He said, I'm walking in your footsteps, Papa. Yeah, right. So of course I tear up. So I hold him, by the hand, and we walk up the beach. I get to the end of the beach, and I said, now look, we both left footprints in the sand. We both left our own path.
I mean, as funny as some of those clips are, I do not believe the story about walking on the grass walking on the sand, I should say, and Papa, I'm following your footsteps. It's cliche, but I get what he's trying to say.
And that's where I carried you.
Tyler Perry.
That's what
Tyler Perry.
And it was then that I carried you. It's only one set of footprints, Papa. That's because I'm carrying you.
Mr. Perry. Tyler.
That nigga is making himself Jesus, Joe.
Tyler Perry. Yo, my brother, if anybody out there knows Tyler Perry, tell him that all of us up here said, that just didn't happen.
The one that really failed the stress test for me was the one about the $800. That's all his dad would make. If you go back and look at the 80s, what $800 was, it was a lot of money at that time. So for him to pass it off as if it's something that is demeaning and cheap, it starts to paint this picture of Tyler that he's not a fully trustworthy narrator of his own backstory, and perhaps his own backstory is a marketing tool to project this image of rags to riches, but it also helps to embellish his black excellence. But again, he shows subtle signs of disdain towards the black community.
Mentally dogged out, especially the nigga net. The nigga net is the worst thing I've ever seen. The nigga net. I'm talking about the internet. I'm talking about the nigga net. The nigga net is punchlines. What we.
The reason I keep bringing this up through his backstory, through his pain, he spoke about it. You've seen the clips about having an abusive father, forgiving his abusive father. They are beautiful. The religious context there are amazing. But then when you look at his artwork, you're left with the question, does he embellish harmful stereotypes?
Don't shoot! It's Helen, your granddaughter, don't shoot!
What's going on? Don't do that. Don't judge me.
How the hell are a man gonna put a woman out her own house?
What? Where are we going?
To your house.
Take my money and go.
If I call the police, they're gonna be here in 10 minutes.
Okay. Then that leave me lying to beat the hell out of you. Oh, please do it. Please hit her. Please, I want to see you do it.
Now, first things first, the first thing to address is that he likes to paint it off as if it's just just white people, that say that about him. No, the black community feel this too. Probably his own audience as well to some degree. He's just become such an institution. And in Hollywood, there's still a lack of representation for black media. Hence why, and it's important to say this, black people, ethnic minorities, especially black women, are some of the most loyal audience members out there. That's why Hollywood are targeting them more. It's nothing to do with just making people feel more represented. It's very strategic, it's very tactical, smart in some ways, so I don't blame them. And Tyler Perry is someone who realized that early.
People all over the country every day, because there are groups of people who want to see this stuff.
Yeah.
And you can build an entire universe on these audiences.
As I did. Even to this day, my Netflix show Beauty in Black went straight to #1. Mea Culpa on Netflix went to #1. Divorce in the Black was #1 on Amazon. So yeah.
But the fact that he evades the criticism of the harmful stereotypes, the fact is when you go through his films, from Diary of a Mad Black Woman to the most recent one, I think it's Medea's Family Reunion, the stereotypes, if anything, have become more and more a caricature. See, that criticism from Spike Lee when he calls him a buffoon,
a lot of stuff that's on today is coonery, buffoonery. And I know it's making a lot of money, breaking records, but we could do better.
Isn't just, to me, a veiled insult. It's not just a jibe at someone. It is revealing the truth if you know the history of coonery, jigaboos, Steffens. It comes from minstrel shows where many white actors would play blackface, but there was also black people there. Sometimes when you see some of these Medea shows, when you see some of these films and the caricatures they play, it does feel like a minstrel show. No disrespect. I do understand that he discusses this aspect of that these characters, are reflections of his past, his pain, his trauma. And it's important to say this, especially when I watch some of his earlier films. I watched a lot of films for this, guys. Beautifully, they addressed taboos that people to this day are still afraid to talk about, but were addressed in the early 2000s. You know, Story of a Mad Black Woman, I do think does address some good taboos. It's probably, in my opinion, his best work.
Are you gay?
How you gonna ask me a question like that?
How do you marry a woman and then turn around and let a man bend you over?
Ain't nobody bending me over.
Oh, so you doing the bending?
It's the one he didn't direct. Anytime he directed it, they were unfocused. To me, some of the editing, there was issues. But that film there, I think wasn't too bad. But as you go through them, they are, quite frankly, just getting progressively worse and more stereotypes, more caricatures that are actually harmful. But he himself, in interviews, speaks about the black community in a way that's full of disdain.
On the edge of their seats, listening quietly in the theater, that's really, really hard to get a lot of black people to do, just so you know, because we are very vocal when we are watching something. We are talking to the screen. We are a part of what's happening. So to have these moments where I could sit and really educate and talk about things that were plaguing us and how we get over them, how we move forward, almost like a therapy session for people who had never even understood or known what therapy was.
And the reason I keep harping up on the disdain is that there's very little black joy, black excellence in his film. And black excellence is a loaded word. Black excellence often connotates what white people see as status. And anyone black that is getting close to that or achieve something that mirrors that is seen as excellent. And we don't have a black way of looking at excellence. Is an important way. It's an important conversation to have. But he never even mirrors that. And ironically, in the Medea films, the only character that isn't a caricature or doesn't fit that stereotypical black narrative is the one that he plays straight himself.
I'm sorry, you
talk about art mirroring reality, or at least his perception of reality, and you do get a little bit of a dastardly image that he's portraying out there. Again, there's a space for it. I think the most recent film called Straw with Taraji P. Henson is fantastic, but it's fantastic purely because of Taraji P. Henson. And I was saying this to a friend of mine, a great friend of mine, in fact, shout out to her, that it's ironic that even some of the issues with his films are birthed from Hollywood's bigger issues. To me, Taraji P. Henson shouldn't be taking films like that because they're not good scripts. But there's a lack of not only representations but roles for someone like her. She's complained about this in the past.
I'm just tired of working so hard, being gracious at what I do, getting paid a fraction of the cost. I'm tired of hearing my sisters say the same thing over and over. You get tired. I hear people go, you work a lot. Well, have to. The math ain't mathing. And when you start working a lot, you know, you have a team. Big bills come with what we do. We don't do this alone. The fact that we're up, is a whole entire team behind us. Yes. They have to get paid.
How much she gets paid, the amount of roles, the amount of opportunities are not afforded to a black actress as much as their white counterpart. Plus you add Taraji's age. Taraji's someone that has peaked later on in life. She's facing so much different backlash that it's a shame that this is her only opportunity in a film where I think she's so much more above the caliber of acting around there. I mean, Tiana Taylor's one of the few good actresses around there as well. Well, notable names, and that I'm gonna be honest, it sounds rude. Big up Tiana Taylor, but she should not be sharing as much screen time as Taraji P. Henson in any film. It's wild. But, you know, wish her all the best. And another thing about that film that I've really got to say, sorry, it's a bit of a side point. I didn't even think Taraji P. Henson looked that much older than Tiana Taylor, when I'm watching them. So it just, to me, even enunciated Hollywood's ageism. And for a black actress, especially like Taraji P. Henson, it's going to be even more prevalent, especially that she's not Julia Roberts that has made hundreds of millions and can afford to take lesser roles now, later on in her career. She's in a different space. I think she might be a bit younger than Julia Roberts or Angelina Jolie, but she doesn't even look her age, and it's just such a shame that she's kind of reduced to this role, but it shows her acting chops and her acting quality.
That nobody came out and went, that's not true, I'm on God's side. Like, none of them. I'm just, the conversation was to show that there are spiritual things going on in the world, and that there are things that are bigger than just coincidence, and that a ritual is something that you do over and over and over again a certain way. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If part of the ritual is wearing a dress, then we should be able to look through entertainment and see all of these people being made to wear a dress. That's what a ritual is. You know what I mean? Like, whether they're white or black, that doesn't matter. There's not other jobs where this is a requirement. Why is this? Yeah. Why is this so necessary?
You probably all know by now the Cat Williams interview. You know the Cat Williams interview. You know he speaks about black people having to perform to stereotypes, specifically having to dress up in order to go far in Hollywood, in order to get roles in Hollywood. It's ironic that his legacy, Tyler Perry, is built off Medea. Not only is it ironic, it illuminates Cat Williams' point the strongest. And I think the saddest thing is that Tyler Perry has become an institution. He's become someone that is larger than life. He himself, when he is around white people, around mass white audiences, white interviewers, is constantly asked to perform this role.
I just jumped another subject because
I know you did. It's fine.
Off Medea. Yeah.
It's your show.
Yeah.
Your show. I'll come back to.
What you want to ask me? Just ask me one question.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, one question. You get one question.
I'm not saying it's emasculating having to play a woman. I'm not saying that. But I think it's a form of control. I think no matter what Tyler Perry says, and he always says that his motivation was escaping poverty, no matter what, he still plays into those stereotypes to fit into those rooms. That in those rooms, they don't see him that vastly different to the stereotypes that he portrays. To me, is perhaps the biggest indictment of Tyler Perry and Hollywood and larger institutional racism, and how no matter what, even if you play the house Negro perfectly, they still see you as not much better than the field Negroes that you're pushing down. I think that is the saddest bit. When I saw him, not once, but twice, being asked to play Medea, do us an impression. It really reminded me of that clip of Odell, where he said, people just come up to you and say, ask them to dance.
I really feel like a zoo animal. Like, that's where life's gone for me. Like, I got people who call, oh damn, dance. Like I'm a show monkey or something.
We are reduced to such basic forms. And I guess there will be probably many people that will put into the comments, if it reaches that audience, that will say, you know, white people sometimes are placed into caricatures and forced to just be viewed at one lens, and that might be the problem with Hollywood and our minds in a larger sense, that we oversimplify and box people in too much. But it just feels a lot more insidious when it comes to black people. It feels like reductionist, and it's so sad to see someone like it, Tyler Perry, who's becoming nothing short of an institution. He's very problematic being reduced like that. But it's funny that portraying harmful stereotypes, but honing into a niche that was forgotten, created a space where he's now been allowed to weaponize religion and evade criticism.
Renowned director James Gunn has been fired after old tweets re-emerged in which Gunn makes inappropriate statements regarding pedophilia and child sexual abuse. I remember my first North American Man-Boy Love Association meeting.
It's been almost 2 weeks since Disney fired director James Gunn for those tweets.
At least 6 men accused the film's director, Bryan Singer, of sexual misconduct spanning 2 decades, all of them underage at the time. The latest accusations revealed in a new report in The Atlantic after a year-long investigation and interviews with 50 sources.
I want to make it absolutely clear that it's not a black director thing. James Gunn was accused of terrible, terrible things through his old tweets, but he was brought back. You had Bryan Singer, who was accused of terrible things. Former X-Men director, by the way, of Days of Future Past, the original 2 that came out in the early 2000s. And he was brought back. You have Harvey Weinstein, of course, who people knew about for years. But fear kept them silent. Fear was compliance for them.
Harvey would talk to me about women that he'd had affairs with. I didn't necessarily believe them.
Everybody knows that's been the case. Everybody has stories.
You heard the rumor that he raped Rose McGowan. You heard that over and over. We've heard that for decades, and nothing was done.
You had to spend about 5 minutes with him to know that he was a bully, he was intimidating. That was his legend.
So Tyler Perry's news allegations are nothing new. If you didn't know the allegations, here they are.
The suit was filed by actor Derek Dixon, who appeared in 85 episodes of Tyler's drama, The Oval.
I really needed this job.
His filing includes screenshots of 19 alleged text exchanges between him and the studio head, including one where Tyler asks, "What's it going to take for you to have guiltless sex?"
Are you jealous?
The actor alleges in one instance, the 55-year-old forcibly pulled off his clothing and attempted to force himself on him. Also as leverage, the suit alleges Tyler had Derek's character shot, leaving his survival up in the air as a cliffhanger. Tyler's attorney calls the claims fabricated, adding this is an individual who got close to Tyler Perry for what now appears to be nothing more than setting up a scam.
The fact that there's a lawsuit probably means they couldn't agree to a settlement.
Is the hallmark of a power abuser, creating that coercive, as the complainant says, that coercive sexual environment. You know, one time going into his bed and grabbing his leg, and he's now charging damages of up to 260 million. Some people may just see that as a cash grab. We don't know the truth. It's all allegedly. Let it play out in court. Let's be fair to the victim and the person being accused as well. But why I bring this up and say is that it's funny that the way he's evaded so much criticism throughout the years, not just of his stereotypes, which I've addressed, which I do think shows some disdain towards his audience because there hasn't even been improvement to that, but also there was the Monique incident.
I can see the pain in you and I can hear it. And I want to let you know that I would never do nothing to hurt you, but the conversation kept going on. Only for Tyler Perry to admit he did start a rumor that I was difficult to work with. He lied. Only for Tyler Perry to admit I was wrong. And when my movie Boo come out, I'm going to say that, right? Now, here's where, when you did that interview with Kat, I could respect how you do it. Because Kat said, you let them people lie in your face. And your response was, Kat, I don't know if they're lying or not.
Right.
Because I can only take them at their word.
At their word.
Right?
Yes.
Well, we sent you the audio of Tyler Perry. I don't want you to take me at my word. I want you to hear his words. And what did you hear that man saying? What did you hear that man saying?
He said it.
What did he say?
Monique, you know you're not supposed to be recording people.
No. Let me back up. Okay. Everything we did was legal. And here's where a black woman really gets the kick in the ass. Had I not recorded Tyler Perry, then it would have been my word against his. And then on top of that, it would have been, he's so powerful, we can't even pay no attention to that.
Right.
I'm going to say this, and I say this every time. I'm not someone that's going to do the, I love black women. Anyone that knows me knows I'm around black women all the time, so I don't need to defend myself with that. But could I believe Monique is difficult to work with? Yeah, you can tell in these interviews. But was it fair what Tyler Perry did? Absolutely not. And the fact that he's been caught on recording, he's never publicly addressed it, to me, shows the character of someone who uses their celebrity to protect themselves. This is their celebrity and their power and the money that they make for these networks. But there's also the Boondocks episode that he got shut down.
So originally, the character's name was Tyler Perry, and he looked exactly like Tyler Perry, and that was the rare moment where Adult Swim was like, you can't do that. You know what I mean? Like they were being irresponsible though. They said you can't use Tyler Perry's name. You can't make it look like Tyler Perry. And then so we found another name, right? It was actually his real name. And we got it under the radar for.
Wait, his real name is Winston Jerome?
No, it was another name.
Okay.
I don't remember what it was, but we found out his real name, and we changed the script, and then Adult Swim got it, and they didn't flag it. So we
Emmett Perry Jr.
It wasn't. So we use Emmett Perry.
Okay.
I think it was Emmett. Yeah, it was Emmett Perry. So it got under the radar, and then about 2 weeks later, they caught it, right? And that's when they called us, kind of like screaming at us, like, yo, for real, like, no bullshit. Like, you can't do that. Don't try to play no fucking games. Like, you can't. We're like, cool. So we changed it to Winston Jerome. We made him look different. And the episode aired. And at least the way this was told to us from the network, Tyler himself called, like, and said, you guys better not ever air that shit again. You know? And at the time, he had a lot of shows at TBS. You know, we were just a little small black cartoon.
I'm not too surprised at that, but what I'm showing you is the case that this person, Tyler Perry, he's got a history of abusing power. When you look at that interview from DJ Vlad, you see that the Christian messaging may be a form of control.
One of the reasons why I think he got really mad is because I think he thought maybe he had a leak or a mole or something, because we were putting things that we actually heard about how he really conducts some of his business, right, in the show. You know, because Gary Anthony Williams had auditioned for one of his films, and he made it to like the second audition. And so Gary was telling us about all of this stuff that he was experiencing, like the prayer circle, how they all were like in this prayer circle. And Gary was talking about how, you know, he was not engaged in the prayer at all. Like he was like looking around, you know, looking at the people in the circle and stuff like that. And he didn't get a call back. And usually if you made it to the second one, you're pretty much in. So he called one of the other actors and he was like, yeah, what happened? Because I made it to the second one. You guys told me like, if I make it to the second, I'm good. And they were like, well, what happened during the prayer circle? Were you engaged?
Taylor's oldest time, someone with power using religion to weaponize people, to weaponize it and control people. It's a damn shame. And I wish as an audience that we become more attuned to this. Again, we have to look at ourselves when we look at the harmful stereotypes he plays, or portrays, I should say, because plays and portrays, because it only came to prominence because of us. He talks about the lane he carved out for himself, but he was only able to carve out that lane through his leveraging of his control of our eyes, our attention, a black audience. He only got that lane by leveraging that audience, our attention, with harmful stereotypes that we were watching. Now, as an audience, we have to ask ourselves, why do we pay attention to this stuff? Why do we pay with our own attention and actual dollars?
Critics just gave up with Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
I can't take this shit no more.
Sure.
Yeah, critics, yeah. That's the audience score. You see right there. Y'all know that don't matter. Listen, you like what you like, but y'all know that don't count. Audience score.
They know what they're doing.
Wait, critics just said, doing this no more. Y'all can have it. Y'all know what this is. What can we say?
Right.
Creates a sort of symbiotic relationship where we're fed very few good things. There's great things now. I May Destroy is one. Issa Rae's Insecure is another one, but they still feel few and far between. Tyler Perry is one of the few people throughout the years consistently making great black stories. Well, I shouldn't say great black stories, just black stories. That we feel that this is the only thing that we can feed. But when we do have great movies, perhaps we don't champion them enough. I'm not just looking at you, I'm looking at myself. The amount of damaging stereotypes that I have watched throughout the years that create damaging stereotypes of black men, and I watch and I pay with my attention, whether that's podcasts, whether that's movies, whether that's drama online. I'm a part of that feedback loop that says that, you know what, all attention is good and it translates to wealth. yeah, I sit here and criticize it. So I'm a part of the problem too. But we have got to do more as an audience to champion the stuff that push away, that challenge their audience. The reason why I'm so critical of his work, the allegations are one thing, we don't know the truth, but we can see a history of power abuse here, a history of being an untrustworthy narrator. It's because his movies, not only have they shown no growth, I think they've regressed. I think they've actually got progressively more harmful in their exploitation of black pain, black women's pain the most, and how damaging, harmful stereotypes of men. There was a period it was always dark-skinned men as well, so I'm obviously going to be triggered.
At its center was a parody that hit too close to home, a flamboyant, cross-dressing Christian playwright named Winston Jerome, a thinly veiled stand-in for Tyler Perry.
The typical Winston Jerome story starts with a beautiful, educated, professional black woman trapped in a troubled marriage with a brown-skinned bald dude from Law & Order.
How can you do this to me? Get out. I'm going to marry this white hussy because you are too virtuous and strong and might make me a better man.
Then, a dude who looks like Shamar Moore shows up as the shirtless, light-skinned gardener who just got out of jail.
Excuse me, may I rake your leaves?
At first, she acts like she doesn't like the light-skinned gardener, but eventually she gets to know him and sees a sensitive side.
Now, I know that to you, I'm just a poor, light-skinned gardener who can't even afford a shirt. But I love me some Jesus, and I love me some you.
Oh, Lord, thank you, Jesus. I never thought I'd ever be with a man so loving and light-skinned.
And I will always be light-skinned just for you.
Being a good Christian woman, she gives her marriage one last chance because Jesus said so.
I am dark-skinned and bald, so I hate you, and I hate Jesus.
And just when the brown-skinned dude from Law & Order is about to hit her, here comes the shirtless gardener.
Hold it right there, bald-headed dude from Law & Order.
The woman and the gardener kiss, having found true love through Jesus.
We have got to do more to champion the better stuff. I understand drama sells, trash sells, but far too often that's the only thing that sells, and it's the only thing that's funneled through us. In conclusion, to conclude, it is difficult because the allegations are still out there. He's emphatically denied them and called them essentially just someone trying to get money out of them. And there could be some truth to that. We don't know. We don't know. We just do know he has a history of evading criticism in his artwork, in his personal relationships when it comes to Monique, and tearing down anyone that tries to criticize him. He labels it as if it's just white people, like it's just, but it's not. It's really not. It's actually loudest from your black community that you say you champion the most, and man, if you listen to his words, they're actually quite harmful, and they exude house Negro. But we have to watch for many people that are portrayed as heroes to ethnic minorities, but in general, they're often people with some of the most harmful intent. Sometimes, not all the time. It's not one fits all.
It touched my heart, so I grabbed him by his hand. I said, no, let's walk together. We walked to the end of the beach, and then he looked back and he saw all the footprints that he had left. I say that to you tonight because I want to talk to you about this thing that is happening in this country, and I want you to pay attention to it. Don't miss this. They are removing our books from libraries. Okay. They are removing our stories and our history. Mm-hmm. They are removing our names from government buildings. It's as if someone wants to erase our footprints.
So you know what I do? Give you divorce sisters.
That's what I was thinking when he was talking. Like, if all that's true, why the fuck are you making Medea goes to jail?
No, Medea's Destination Wedding.
Right.
Right. What the fuck are we talking about?
Why don't you make a movie about that shit?
And make sure you're a crook.
Many people that are not in power, we look up and see people in power, and we kind of fetishize it, mythologize it, as if they're better than us, when the reality is they're not. In reality, their power comes from the way they can tap into the 99%. But without us, 1% doesn't exist. We need to start to dissect power and how we have a relationship with who we give power to, not just financial, but social status, to question it more, question their words more, question people's artwork more. Again, art is art. Do what you need to do. There's something for everyone. But too often people are allowed to evade criticism and improvement. Too often. And I think it's damaging. Power has proven whether that be the law, whether that be the industrial complex of prisons, that it does more to protect the most powerful than the most vulnerable. Those who have the means to protect themselves will always be protected. That's what power is showing throughout history. And Tyler Perry is an example of that. He's not quite R. Kelly where he's got a litmus of issues, but you can see he's someone that has harmful tendencies and he's not questioned enough. Power and the law often protects the most powerful, not the most vulnerable. Be aware of that. But also be aware that many of these black excellent celebrities, black excellence, it's just house number. Tyler Perry is an example of that. Is he an ally? I genuinely don't know. He speaks about helping many black people, but I don't view him as one. And we need to question people like that a lot more. And again, I will end with this. The irony that for all he's accomplished, the wealth, the lane, the studio, he still has to perform for white audience as if he's a mere entertainer just on the stage with the Medea impression. That to me was the saddest indictment of Tyler, honestly. But with that, I give you my leave. Tell me what you think. Please put it into the comments. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And without further ado, hold on, what's this? Underneath my nose. I'm out.
And I only have one request. Look, man, all bullshit aside, can I please just have some ass?
Okay. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me you made up this whole cross-dressing Christian cult crap just so you can sleep with men?
Pretty much, yeah.
Fuck you!